Okay, I have the thumbs up. We're going to do it. We're going to officially kick off Sustainable Places 2025. And I said it last year, and I'll say it again. This is my favorite time of the year because it's an opportunity to come together and be with you. We had a very nice session this morning, pre-opening. We had a wonderful networking lunch. There were a lot of good conversations. And now we officially kick off Sustainable Places. And I have the pleasure of kicking off and covering event highlights so that we understand that. I'm Tom Azervi from R2M Solution. We do three main things. We do R&D, we do consulting on the market, and then in the middle, there are innovative products. Where do those innovative products come from? They come from our research projects. And we use platforms such as this one to try to put them onto the territory and boost their uptake. That gives us the opportunity to work with some really exciting projects. This Gioia 22, that's the skyscraper here in Milan. That's Onyx Solar photovoltaic glass. We're their distributor for that. They're made in Spain, Avila, and it's just great. La Forgiatura, we'll talk about that tomorrow during the Smart Radius Indicator thematic track. That's SRI certified. And A's Building 14 down in Rome, we've had a bunch of innovative products put on that. It's so great to be with you, and for many of us, again, this year. We have a storied tradition in coming together in signature cities across Europe, connecting to those cities and discussing science, innovation, and market uptake. And it's an absolute pleasure. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here, this edition, in this building. It's for a reason. It has a history. We'll cover that in a moment. It's my pleasure to have this lineup of opening keynote speakers to take us through themes that are core and integral to our conference and lead us to the discussions that we have in these 3 days. So I want to thank each of them for being here, and it's going to be excellent. I'm moving quickly because we competed with the nice networking lunch, and we're starting just a few minutes late, but we're going to be fine and we'll finish on time. So with that, welcome to Sustainable Places 2025 and our partner acknowledgement. So the event would not be possible without our partnerships, without your participation, without our sponsorships, without the media partners, the promotional partners. And this year has been an excellent response. And we're very happy for that because our message keeps getting out to new places. And I put this building up again for a reason. And I talked about the fact that it has a rich history. And let's take a look at that. So it's a landmark office complex designed by a renowned architect that had a signature Italian business in here, Il Sole 24 Ore. So anytime I mention we're doing the event in Monte Rosa 91, everyone tells me, that's the old Sole 24 Ore headquarters from years ago. Many of us work on the themes of requalification, urban redesign, sustainable design, deep retrofit. This building went through 150 million euro retrofit to be the structure that it is today and to host the businesses that it hosts today. If you go outside across where there's the restaurant in the open space and you go up some stairs on the backside, there's even a garden in there and you can go for a walk in the garden. So maybe if you, during a break, you have the opportunity to go across and experience that. When I came here, I was inspired by it and I thought maybe this is the right place for Sustainable Places. It is a certified building. It is certified LEED Gold. It's certified WELL Gold and wired scored platinum. So we can all go ahead and surf our digital model of the building in real time. We'll show that in a moment. And we can test the wired scored platinum connectivity. So these certifications exist, and we're proud to announce that for this edition, for the very first time, we have the very first Access for You certified place for accessibility and inclusivity. So as we talk about sustainability, and we talk about social engagement, and we talk about people, part of that is inclusivity, accessibility. So our team has been here in the building, and that means measuring doors, and are they wide enough to accommodate wheelchairs? Can you get to this room from outside? And if I go online and I want to choose this location to have an event, do I have confidence that that event, one, the previous slide, matches the principles that I adhere to, has connectivity, and is it inclusive and accessible to the audience I want to bring into that venue? The answer for this building is yes, the certification has now been done. It's published on a special website for that. And there's the certificate for it. And we had that award yesterday. So that's the first one in Italy. And we're down to Sicily shortly to do a commercial and shopping center next. We've been having fun. We've also got an SRI assessment of the building. That's done. You'll hear about that tomorrow morning. We've done a Matterport 3D immersive scan. So if you go to the Sustainable Places website, if you haven't seen it yet, or on LinkedIn, you can drive through the building. And, this is where you end up at the end of the tour, here in the auditorium. But you can go around the building. And we put tags on things so that you can get information about the building. Well, as we think about digital building logbooks, as we think about who maintains the structure, who has to replace that light, or who installed those speakers, what's the technical diagram for that speaker, you can tag that and put it in the model. And then people have a digital record, and that can be used to communicate a structure or to operate or maintain a structure. So the services of Scan to BIM built on a Matterport model. So that's enough me telling you about the building and some of the themes that are integral to the conference and that we really enjoy working on. And let me tell you about you, okay? So we're 400 delegates across the 4 days, and these numbers are changing a bit. Last night was 404. We've had some additional registrations today, and we're still trying to invite the correct people into our thematic sessions. We're still working on that. So 400 delegates, we have 160 EU projects that have come together, 28 project clustering workshops in the workshop rooms, 8 paper sessions, and 6 thematic tracks. So the core of the conference has always been these 160 EU projects that are just outstanding, that come together to share knowledge, collaborate with each other, exchange best practices, and look to the future for the next projects. That's the core. What's a little bit new is we're trying to also do the following. So it's super valuable for researchers to come together and cluster together. Yes. But those research projects are trying to get out to the market. So what can we do to bring more of the market into our venue and to our event to speak with our core audience, the researchers, so that we can talk about market implementation and connecting research to the market? We're doing that through this year, thematic tracks. And those tracks are largely made possible by sponsorships, which give us the opportunity to have this structure and send invitations for people to come join us and invite them to networking lunches so that you have the opportunity to talk with them. And we'll be doing this each year. So I take a moment to make that very evident that we're going to work harder each time. And we've done great across history at connecting to the cities we go to and connecting to stakeholders in those areas. And that's part of the reason the first session was on clusters. So that's thematic tracks. They're listed there in the auditorium each day across the 3 days of the event. Now let me tell you a couple things about the event. We'll be sending warning emails where to get information. That's an image from our digital online detail agenda. You can download that from the webpage. And at 2 in the morning last night, I still saw that being updated because we have changes still. The speakers and some people are changing their titles, and we try to be as flexible as we can to work with this audience because we know you're very busy. It's ready though, and it's online. It's there for you. Morning emails, an agenda overview, also on the websites, this detailed digital agenda, and then the sessions are most fully described on the Sustainable Places website under the Sessions tab. So we have these different sources of information, and we're doing our best to get them all in agreement with each other because all of this lasts in time. So you can go back as far as 2013 and view the workshops and the papers and the sessions that have been presented each year in the event. So if you spot an error on the agenda, we want to correct it. So please tell us about that. So these are some images in the agenda from the 3 days of the event. Tonight, we have a guided tour of the castle. We have 100 people that have signed up for that. The meeting point is at the castle. Some people at the registration desk are saying, we would like to join the tour. Can we still do that? We have booked guided tour slots for 120. So we still have some space to accommodate people to join us on the tour and meet us at the castle. And if we show up in 125, will they allow us to add a few people to a group? I hope so, but we have to see there. So that's where we are. We have 100 people that have signed up to do it. If you're not joining, you've changed it, tell us so that we can allow someone else to register. We have slots for 120, and we'll see what happens when we meet there at 19:30 this evening. 3 wonderful days. Tomorrow we'll be at La Tradizionale, a restaurant. You'll need public transport to get there, and then it's an 8 to 10 minute walk. We wanted to do it at the castle, but we got too big. They cannot accommodate the size of our group. We'll be 250 at the restaurant tomorrow as well. Other things about the event, other cool things. Our ticketing platform, no platform is perfect. We tried Humanics this year. We like that proceeds go to charity. And we're working with that, and we're experiencing it. We also are using Old Hopin, New Ring Central for the digital, and we have people following us online, and these sessions are being streamed and are available after the fact. On Friday, we'll hear from Life Terra, where we met them in Madrid. And now they're working in a research project called Scaling Superhero, where crowd-lending citizens are financing a school to do energy renewables, and then those kids afterward go out and plant trees from Life Terra. So I love the fact that this event has put together things like that from research projects that make it into the territory. For me, it's outstanding. And I thought tree planting wasn't real, but they're on a mission to plant 500 million trees, and they've done an amazing amount. I think they're at 50 million. It's on their webpage, but it's incredible the work they're getting done. Gotta love the t-shirt. The t-shirt shows our history. For those that have registered to the event as a speaker and paid the registration fee, we have a t-shirt. It's up in the cloakroom. If we don't have your size, you have to blame AI. So we use AI to run a distribution of the sizes of an event in Italy with a European audience, and it told us to print that many t-shirts of these sizes instead of just printing one size fits all. So we did a distribution. They're in the cloakroom if you'd like to pick that up for everyone that's registered as a speaker for the event. We have the Life program exhibiting. The head of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership is with us. We'll be here tomorrow. We have training sessions on the Matterport, training sessions on IES. We have decarbonization workshops to help those softwares get distributed out to municipalities. We have 2 general assemblies that are attached to this event. They're currently in session, or one of them is, and they'll join us tomorrow. We have startups that we're putting in front of each industry, and each of you are looking for engagement. So no one comes to this event not to get engagement. So the best thing we can do at this event is engage with each other. So I go back to the beginning. Thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have you. Thank you for being a part of the event. It's a waypoint because we talk each year on how we're doing. So I'm excited to hear this year how we're all doing in our research projects and in the collaborations we're making together. And I encourage you to invest in each other. This morning we met with associations. They need members, they need support. These associations carry forward the standardization, the events, and the principles we need to do what we need to do. So invest in each other, have those conversations, attend each other's workshops, and enjoy the event. Final note for me is this event, we heard about it maybe a little bit later than we wanted to, around April or May. We can already tell you, next year we'll be back in Luxembourg, 10 through 12 November. Maybe the date changes one date, but that's the first look at it. It will be confirmed in our newsletters. And if you're not following our newsletters, go to the Sustainable Places website and sign up for it so that we can keep you informed about the events. And with that, Sustainable Places is open, and it's a round of applause for all of you, not for me. It's for the community, huh? So now I'll hand it over to our first keynote speaker, which is Marco Mazziotti. He is replacing the Vice Syndico of Milan, unfortunately became ill and cannot be with us today. She is very, very sad for that. So we'll have Marco come up and provide a welcome from the city of Milan, and which is a city inspirational at the forefront of sustainability. Marco, please.
Hello again. Well, it was not foreseen actually, since Deputy Mayor Anna Scavuzzo had to be here today with us. So apologizes on her behalf because she got sick this morning and she really could join this event. She was so sorry because we chatted before when she communicated to me that she could not join, and she said she was so sorry because the city of Milan today has much to say concerning sustainability. And we are working on that so much since maybe the last 10 or 15 years. And each action of our city is mainly going on the direction of sustainability. Ms. Cavuzzo, among her own responsibilities, she has education, she has the food policy, and she has urban regeneration. So 3 topics where sustainability is at the center of the action of the municipality. So we also on some activities when maybe sustainability could be seen even less, such as welfare, education, and those kind of activities. We have a strong commitment in trying to drive our policies and move toward a comprehensive sustainability at city level. I'm going later to make some examples concerning EU funding, which is actually my actual job. And just another few words. We are very happy to host this event here. Since the beginning, we had talks with Thomas that Milano could host the edition of this year of the Sustainable Places event. We were so happy, and we provided full support to the organization of this. Because we consider that also having this kind of events in city increases awareness among city actors and city stakeholders toward what all together, so not only the municipality, is doing to reach full sustainability. Just finally, welcome to Milano. Apart from the conference, we hope you will enjoy the city, and we will have also the chance to take a visit of some places. And most of all, enjoy this evening's visit to the main castle of the city. We are very happy. We have the possibility to organize these small events to show you a beauty of our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marco. And we talked the core of the audience is scientific research clustering together and how we want to connect that to the market side. We couldn't have any better opportunity to do that than welcoming the next keynote speaker to talk to us about smart buildings, a new frontier in real estate from Jacopo Palermo from the Tea Ambrosetti group. So a group that's not focused on scientific EU projects or clustering, but focused on real estate asset management. So Jacopo, please.
Thank you all, and thank you for the invitation. I will try to be a little bit brief and stay in time because I don't want to enter, in too many details of numbers and figures. But the scenario analysis that I want to share with you, it is has a message which says basically we have to go towards smart buildings, and this is something we cannot be avoided at all. And it is also a very interesting market, as many of you know, since you are all operators in this field or researchers in this field. Very few words on TEA. TEA, for the ones that do not know us, maybe more outside Italy, is the European House Ambrosetti, is the first Italian think tank, ranking among the first 10 in Europe, and the management consulting company. We're more than 300 people. We have a flagship event, which is rather well known, which is the Chernobyl Forum, but we host also many more events, and we are rather widespread, as you saw from the map, from the chart. What we are doing in the real estate and construction practice is actually trying to support and to foster the creation of value in the real estate and construction supply chain and segment in Italy. We do believe that it is required, a strong effort in order to build a truly structured and significant industrial sector, which is not now the situation. And instead, this market is still, at least at Italian level, national level, a little bit not fully unleashed and fully mature. We do it with consultancy, so basically, strategic advisory and business support, and mainly as a think tank in understanding and defining the scenarios with our communities, platforms, forums, and position papers, and whatsoever, which is mainly what I want to discuss and to share with you today. Why urban regeneration is a key priority for Italy? First of all, there is an European, trend, which probably you already know, but and there is not so much of a difference between Italian and European level. We know that by 2050, in spite of the demographic winter that we're facing, anyway, we will be more than 85% people living in urban centers. So the issue on how we plan and we build cities, it is rather relevant, in our point of view. And it is also, as we said, a market, in the sense that smart cities market is going to increase very much. It is projected to increase very much, rather interesting. And it is also, very well, transversal to industries. We have utilities, governance, transportation, healthcare, and buildings, of course. What we do as far as Italian, level is concerned, we have a critical issue with the land consumption, in the sense that still the land consumption, so greenfield initiatives, they are growing, which is, of course, is not sustainable as a place, just to play a little bit with words of the title of this event. And we are the fifth worst in Europe from this point of view. So urban regeneration in terms of redeveloping brownfield, it is really a priority for the government and for our country. We have also a perception in the in the cities and of living in places where the quality of life has deteriorated in the last 5 years. This is a survey that we run, together with some partners, and there is also, the real need in the 14 metropolitan areas, to redevelop a quite significant part of the territory, because we talk about 15% on average, more or less, of areas that requires redevelopment. Needless to say, as in many other countries in Europe, there is a huge amount of public-owned assets that requires redevelopment, and we know that public does not have so much funding to do all this job, which is fundamental. And so there is a topic going on and a confrontation going on about how to trigger a better public-private partnership scheme in order to redevelop all these assets, and again unleash a significant market for all the players involved in the supply chain. Then we go on the side of the social demographical trend. Why urban regeneration is so important also from societal point of view, as some speakers said this morning that I heard. First of all, we have an aging population in Italy. The issue is rather important, because we'll be about 18% of population beyond 75 years old, soon enough. And on the other end, at the other side, of the rope, we have, a huge lack of student accommodation. So if you put this together, this triggers, a clear issue of how to plan and to develop cities that they work with an intergenerational approach. Moreover, we all know that at European level, and Italy is not an exception, there is an issue of affordability for housing. So we talk about affordable housing, we talk about social housing, and all the, let's say, the kind of housing that they are public funded or public supported. In Italy, what is the cost over burden rate is rather high with the report to Europe. And again, the stock available for housing is very small. So we believe that urban regeneration has to be developed and has to be smart and future-proof. Smart buildings for us are key enablers, because we go from smart buildings to smart district and to smart cities only if we start from the main building block. And this accounts also for an issue of attractiveness of our cities, because there is a clear positive, correlation between developing smart cities and having a better quality of life, and so on the overall compete in the market of attractiveness between cities in worldwide, I would say. We have done also a research on 12 KPI that we defined. Trying to better understand how different smart districts were working. We see that there is also here a significant gap between international average and Italian average. So again, market is important, and among these, developments that we found. There are some, benchmarks like Hudson Yards, one Bangkok, Roppongi Hills in Japan. Now, I won't go in the details of this, but we know that buildings in Scandinavia now they face a kind of pressure from the system, because we know that there are regulatory pressures, so perfectly EPBD and so on. Finance is anyway going and increasing their attitude towards green financing, so it is something that we have to take into consideration. This has a reflection also in what is accounting systems, and eventually accounting systems actually they have to take into consideration the market value, so the demand. So again, the demand has become more aware and more also expecting, certain kind of services from the places that they are living in, and these amounts also all as a trends that are pressuring smart buildings to be developed and to be implemented in our cities. I will go a little bit faster because time is running out, but we have a PropTech market, which is forecasted to be to increase in the next years in all, services, hardware and software parts. Smart home, mainly appliances and domotic systems, also they're going to grow. And there is also a perception from tenants and landlords that with different points of view, but all of them, they expect the main investments in CapEx and in OpEx to be from the technological side, so to be from the digital part of the building, the digital content and the infrastructural content of the building. As far as other asset classes are concerned, smart buildings, they touch everything, but there is also an enabler that sometimes is not always taken into consideration, which are data centers. If you take US markets, data center, capitalization has been growing very much, and in Europe, actually, we are rather behind. So still there is space, to better understand how this can become another lever, to create value at the national level. Talking about surfaces, they say, okay, but how big is the market of urban generation? We can estimate that we are talking about 320 million square meters. We have done just 12 millions up to now in 2024. We have to, supposedly we could reach 320, and this might account for 1.4 billion, of direct, turnover in a time span of 25 years, which is, according to our view, consistent with what is a urban regeneration project. That's why we have launched, and of course, everybody is invited, to join us if they want, 3 platforms to promote, of course, with the think tank attitude, to promote urban regeneration throughout the country. We have urban regeneration value. We have one dedicated to smart building and one dedicated to data center. What we want to do is really create a content of knowledge and of ideas that can be disseminated, that can be proposed to stakeholders. Then we go and engage stakeholders, and we do advocacy to the policymakers. And in this issue, the research side, so research and development that you are involved with is rather important. And with that to end, that I thank again for the invitation and for their support. We are going to work very much, especially on the SRI side of the regulation, and we'll dedicate some work on this in our communities. Our communities that, as you can see, they gather from different expertise. The main players that are involved in the real estate and construction market, and then they go and they engage private and public stakeholders, always with this vision, to foster the creation of value at this level, and to enable a real, urban regeneration as a truly industry in our country. I believe that I'm more or less staying in time, Tom. So thank you very much.
Excellent, Jacopo. Thank you. And I hope everybody knows there was a real estate think tank talking about pressures from policy, and many of the projects in this room are working on the development and implementation of those policies. So I really think it's impressive that those things come together. We couldn't have with us today Rebuild Ukraine 2030, but we asked them for a video message. So we know in our European projects that it is welcome to include Ukrainian partners. So there is Rebuild Ukraine 2030. There is Alyssa Bankovska that is putting this together with others working on a program for Rebuild Green 2030. They had an event about a month ago that was very interesting down in Rome, and they'll keep doing it. They are working on some of the call topics in the NEB, but they're very new to the environment. So they're actively seeking collaboration, and because of the need and because of the skills in the room, I simply wanted to put them on the screen and give her a chance to say hello from the airport in a 1 minute and 40-second video.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alisa Vankowska. I am the founder of Hub of Innovations for Cities Synchrospace, and I'm the co-organizer of the Rebuild Green 2030 program, together with the FIAPSI Ukraine and Modulina Straw Panels. It's a true honor for me to greet you all at the opening of Sustainable Places 2025. And my sincere thanks to the organizers for inviting me and for creating such an inspiring platform. In Ukraine, we are not waiting. We are rebuilding now. Through Rebuild Green 2030, we are shaping a new model of reconstruction based on circular materials, bio-based technologies, and digital innovations, and fully aligned with European sustainability principles. We work hand in hand with municipalities and international partners and implement public-private partnership model to prepare and implement the project and demonstrate how recovery can become a driver for green transformation. Affordable housing solutions, industrial parks, education and cultural buildings, rehabilitation centers, and a lot of other opportunities. Our network already brings together experts and organizers from more than 16 countries, and we welcome everyone ready to contribute to building a more sustainable and resilient future together. Thank you, and I wish you an inspiring and very successful conference.
That's great. So she did a good job to put that together in the airport. I couldn't have done that. Awesome. So now let's hear about something else, building bridges. So something exciting happened last year. Canada signed into the Horizon Europe framework agreement. We can now have Canadian partners in our proposals, and here we have a delegation from Quebec. And let's hear about that. So for some people, that's very new, so we thought it would be interesting to listen to that. So Ralph, please tell us about that.
Alors, bonjour tout le monde, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Très heureux et honoré d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui à Sustainable Places 2025. So first, my thanks to the organizer, so Tom, thank you for the kind invitation. I think this event is a very key platform to share ideas and experiences and foster new collaborations in sustainable urban development, which is a key priority for Quebec in its strategy for international. My name is Ralph, and I'm speaking on behalf of Ms. Laurence Fouquet-Langlais, who is the delegate of Quebec to Italy. She couldn't be here today, unfortunately. So what we do, what does the Quebec government in Italy, the office of the government do in Italy? We have two offices in Rome and in Milan, and we work to reinforce the Quebec partnership and presence in Italy in many fields, from the economic affairs, research and innovation, institutional relations, and also culture. So basically our mission is to bring partners from Quebec to here in order to build bridges between Quebec and Italy, but more broadly between Quebec and Europe. This year marks 60 years of our presence in Italy, which is important because I think it shows how deep and dynamic our relationship and our participation here today reaffirms our shared commitment to advancing innovation and sustainability, of course, across the Atlantic. Canada is fully engaged, as you may know, in Horizon, and Quebec is right in the heart of it. Our focus is the pillar 2, so the one dealing with global challenges and industrial competitiveness, which is exactly, I think, where projects related to sustainable places naturally fit. Quebec is already active through consortia and our universities. We've got ETS, for example, which is called the Technologie Supérieure de Montréal, McGill University. We've got Université Laval and also Hydro-Québec, and more other are coming. Just for the context, maybe in order to show how we are engaged in investment and research and innovation, our gross expenditure on R&D in 2022 was 2.5% of our GDP, which is just slightly below the OECD average, which was 2.7. We've got to do so and to make sure that research comes from research to market, just as Tommy was saying before. We've got a couple of key actors, which is FRQ, le Fonds de recherche du Québec, and our industrial research sector cluster. They are important because they bring together academia, so universities, companies, and innovators. So our FRQ and RSCRS are definitely the entry point for you, for Italy, from Europe to come and work with us. We've got a team here in Italy. I'm based in Milan, and I'm waiting for a colleague who is coming in a couple of weeks, more or less, and she will be based in Rome, exactly in order to be, to make sure we are ready and active to let you meet our Quebec actor and the pertinent one. Very, very quickly, just to show you the areas where we think you could be collaborating with us. There are just, of course, just a few ones, and also behind each of those fields, there are existing projects, local one, partners, and I think we can work together. And of course, we are here to put it in touch with the right person there in Quebec. Just to conclude very quickly, because we are running out of time, I would like to leave you with one message, one key message, which is the following. Quebec and Europe share a common vision that innovation, of course, sustainability and scientific cooperation are the two drivers of progress. Through Horizon Europe, we have a unique opportunity to bring this vision to life. Again, as Tom was saying before, the possibility to turn ideas into action and partnership into lasting impact. So Quebec brings to this collaboration, to this framework, a vibrant, open innovation ecosystem that is deeply committed to the green and digital transitions. We are eager to build, of course, strong ties with European partners. I'm very happy to be here. This is a great opportunity for us for networking and make sure we have potential partners with us. Our participation to Horizon reflect a firm and key belief, which is the following. We think that the great global challenges we are facing today, from the energy transition to urban resilience, can be met together, only together. So through research, co-creation, and of course, challenges, knowledge exchanges, and so on. So the key, the main takeaway is simple. Together, Quebec and Europe, we can build a lasting transatlantic partnership, and through that, be able to deliver innovation with purpose and sustainability with impact. I'm here all the afternoon, very happy to exchange with you. So merci beaucoup, and thanks for your attention. I will be happy to meet you, speak with any of you in order to continue to discuss. Thanks a lot.
That's wonderful. That's given me some ideas. I grew up in Bangor, Maine. It's a 4.5-hour drive to Quebec. It's a beautiful city. When I was a child, for me, that was Europe. It's very similar. New mission, sustainable places, 20, I don't know when in Quebec. How about that? I want a project consortium meeting in Quebec. I look forward to that one. Speaking of the future, now we're going to hear from the managing director of the Building Digital Twin Association, Elke Moors, about the Kaunas Declaration. It's a big deal. We have some of the leaders, in thought development on digital building permits and the Kaunas Declaration. So Elke, please tell us about that.
First of all, Thomas, I'm very grateful for this opportunity again, to be here again, second year in a row, and very pleased and also thank the whole R2M team, because I know that it's not only your work, it's the whole team behind it. I'm very pleased to see all of you here today. As Thomas said, I'm a general manager of the Building Digital Twin Association, which is a non-profit association based in Belgium. But today, I'm not going to talk about the association. That's something that Edward Loskus, he just got here on time. It's the president of our association. He's going to talk about it later. As you can see from the title, well, I'm going to talk about something that normally makes people groan. It's about building permits. But please, stay with me. Don't pull back. I promise you that maybe this will be something that radically changes the future of European cities building, okay? So what's the present context of building permits? Well, nowadays, for most people, it's a nightmare, okay? I don't know how many people amongst the public are from public administrations. Is there someone? Oh, Marco. Okay, well, it's a pity because I wanted to see more people from public administrations. But anyway, so today it's a nightmare because for most people it takes weeks, months, or even years to get a building permit. Because it's associated with a lot of paperwork, bureaucratics, etc. So let's just for a moment imagine that it would be possible. Maybe it's a dream. It isn't. You will see afterwards. But let's imagine that you could grab your cell phone or you could connect with your laptop and submit an application for a building permit, just going through a simple process and get it in a quite short time, a period of time. Well, maybe that sounds like a dream. And so that's why we launched in May this year, the Kaunas Declaration. Okay, you can see a picture. Those were the people that were at our Building Digital Twin International Congress. And here we had people from some European cities, such as Madrid, Brussels. We also had people from Hamburg, from Vilnius, Kaunas, Tallinn. And they were participating together with software developing companies that were also invited at this workshop, from Bentley, Akka Software, an Italian company. Another partner from us from North Macedonia, I just mentioned also here. They were all giving their support, and also European partners from European projects, I should mention. DigiChex, Chex, Accor. They all were joining forces to make this Kaunas Declaration possible. And why is this so important? Well, it's because that in Europe there is an urgent need. There are many, many people in Europe. 5% of population over 16, which is about 14 million people, can't access a decent living and a decent house, okay? So today I'm the voice of these people, and we have 17 million households that are overburdened because they can't pay or they have difficulties to pay their loans. So that's the reason why it's an urgent need. And also, as I said, because it's a slow, inconsistent process where very often information is outdated or fragmented. So what we want to reach by this Kaunas Declaration is a European-wide consensus on standards. So who should care about this? Well, in fact, everyone, all of us. Starting from the citizens, as Germain, he said before, citizen is key, he should participate, she should participate in this project too, you should consult them. City managers that can make, and you will see afterwards, a big change in speeding up the process. Developers and architects will be happy if we can speed up the process at the beginning, because then afterwards they don't have to hold parts of the project online. And banks, of course, if it goes quicker, they will be happier to invest. And in the end, we will have happy people. Okay, so it involves all of us. Then just let's talk tech for a moment. Well, cities nowadays, they have certain superpowers. They are the superheroes of urban planning. When they combine the BIM models with the GIS maps, then they can reach data-driven smart planning, okay? And if we add, on top of that, the use of digital twins and augmented reality, well, then we can make invisible certain structures. We can bring these invisible structures to life. And all of this will lead to more trust, less bureaucracy, and in the end, transparency. That's what we all need. So maybe all of this, it sounds like science fiction right now, but there is a real case, there is a best practice. Oh, and there isn't any background, it doesn't matter. So there is a best practice, and it's Estonia. Estonia nowadays, they've managed to connect several registers. They've connected their BIM and their GIS registers, and they have an e-construction platform that integrates a full 3D model of the whole of Estonia. And this allows that 100% of digital permits, well, of building permits are digital, okay? So there are a lot of opportunities we can't miss in the Kaunas Declaration. For example, if we would use more actively BIM models at a city level, then we can engage citizens at an early stage. And we can have public participation, avoiding that they will block certain public construction projects further on in the process. Or if they would use open standards, then this would protect cities from vendor lock-in. It would allow cities to become freer if they want to change their softwares. Or small towns using cloud-based tools, they could leapfrog and all of a sudden become far more competitive in this area. So in the end, again, it's all about social inclusion, transparency, and trust. So how can a city start? Well, it's quite simple. The next steps can be start digitizing zoning maps, use these open standards, and share simple BIM models. It's not that difficult. So what did the BDTA do? Well, in May this year at Kaunas, Lithuania, we lit the spark of this Kaunas Declaration, just with this group of people we saw before. But what are we looking for? I want to engage you, that you are the ones to set the fire here in Milan. We know that the city of Milan is here. Hopefully we can get their support for the Kaunas Declaration too, because we want to set this fire, and then in December at the Digital Building Permitting Congress in Vienna, we hopefully can start shaping the future standards in Europe for the digital building permitting. Okay. So this is the end of my presentation. How can you participate? Well, it's very easy. You can adhere, you scan this code, you go to our landing page, which is freshly launched. Yesterday it was launched, and you can sign. So it's just leaving your information, and then you can support the Kaunas Declaration. And hopefully, our goal is that in May next year, when we will be organizing our next Building Digital Twin International Congress in Brussels, probably in Belgium. It's going to be in Belgium. We would like to invite, there is a new special committee at the European Parliament. I don't know if you're aware of it, which has been convened in January this year. And so there's an Italian woman, Irene Tignali. She's leading this housing commission for the housing crisis. And we would like to take this Kaunas Declaration to her and emphasize the importance of digitalizing just this small aspect of what could be fit in an overall digital twin. But it would be a big step, and it would definitely help to have more affordable and sustainable housing. And of course, you can also become a supporter of the BDTA, so that is also possible on our website. So thank you very much for your attention. And the only thing we shouldn't wait for to dry, it's not the paint, but it's the digital permits. So thank you.
Great. And in the next session on smart digital inclusive cities, we'll get some technical examples and a lot of technical detail on digital building permitting. Great. Next, we'll hear from another association. We heard Jermaine speak earlier pre-opening, but we weren't everybody, and we're going to repeat a couple of those messages. Next, from the Meta Building Association and the opportunity and the acceleration and the power of clusters. Jermaine, please tell us about the Meta Building Association and how people can join and engage.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, everyone, for attending this session. Sorry for the ones that listened to me this morning, but I won't repeat. I will go faster. I will use the same slides, but the message will be slightly different and more focused on other things than this morning. So, Meta Building Labs is an open innovation testbed, so a network of testing facilities, service providers in innovation for the construction sector in Europe. So this screen is showing a lot of partners, testing facilities. A lot of them are our members. You will see many national level technology centers, reference technology centers in different countries. And we bring a lot of services for the innovation, and we especially focus SMEs, and we'll explain later why. So we, at this point, Meta Building Labs is also a European project that will soon end. And so we have done a lot of things, and our highlights are there. So we have a very interesting ecosystem where we work with the concept of innovation ecosystems. So of course, our own network, and also cluster networks that we are working with, which is the Build for People Innovation Cluster Network. We provide the official collaborative platform for this network of clusters, which is the metabuilding.com platform, which is open and free to use for everyone in Europe. This digital platform allows to communicate, to collaborate, to do matchmaking of research ideas or business opportunities. We handle digital product passport, building digital logbooks. We have a lot of things going on in the platform, and this will be more and more the case in the next upcoming months. We have a structure to manage all this network, which is the Meta Building Association. And so this is a very active association. We have recently enlarged our board of administrators. And last but not least, in what I am going to explain, is that we have a new way of becoming member of the Meta Building Association. Why, I will explain later, but we were this network of very expert testing facilities and service providers and technology centers and universities. But we want to open the game and really welcome everybody in the value chain of the construction sector. So we explain this a little bit more later. This is a slide of the Build for People Innovation Cluster Network. So the Build for People partnership, you may have heard of, has this initiative of pushing and helping and supporting clusters around Europe, across Europe, to become more competitive and to engage more in innovation. So this network has currently around 35 clusters, and is growing, will be growing, and backed up by a specific CSA, which is Star Trek project. But why are clusters important? So this morning I explained the economic importance of clusters. Why? Because the construction sector is composed at 99.9% of SMEs, and 95% of those SMEs have less than 10 persons. So at this micro scale, it's very, very difficult not just to do innovation, even to use innovation, to be aware of what is happening in technology advancement. And we really need that everyone uses better materials, more sustainable materials, recycled materials, or solutions, integrate energy. Well, you all know what it takes to have a better built environment. So that's why clusters are important, because SMEs are affiliated to them in regions. So this is one of our targets. And so this has been recognized by the European Commission, funding projects like Start Track, and also funding this Open Innovation Testbed. So there are 3 projects ongoing, and the Commission put 45 million euros to fund this. So they consider it important. This is a Build for People charter, innovation cluster charter. So there's a lot of things related to Open Innovation 2.0. So innovation that can be cross-sectoral, cross-border, locally anchored, but connected to national level, to European level. And it's a specific point 6, you have to be really performant in innovation. You have to be connected to testbed and demonstration spaces. A last word about the importance of clusters is that to do innovation, I really believe, and this is my personal opinion, but also there's a lot of literature, scientific literature on this, is that innovation comes when people meet. So clusters are performant, and Silicon Valley, these kind of clusters are performant because you have a lot of people sharing the same physical space or area, working together, having lunch together, exchanging ideas, and innovation happens in these informal spaces, informal time. This is not well known, is knowledge spillover. And so this is why it's important to be here. So we share a physical space once a year at least, and we talk to each other and opportunities come. So this is super important. And that's why we really believe in the importance and the power of clusters to connect people, and without forgetting these very important links that are SMEs. So this is our digital innovation platform. I invite all of you to use it, so to take a tour on it if you haven't done yet, and it's free for use, as I said, for everyone. Our landing page, metabuilding.com, a lot of services. The main idea of it is that we are open. We are open as an association. So our association has all those members that you can see there. A lot of them, as I said before, reference institute for the construction sector. But we are also open. See, we have recently enlarged our board of administration. The association is quite new, quite young, so created at end of 2023. But now we have a consistent and with critical mass board of directors. The association is open not only to expert technology centers at university, of course it is. So if you are a university at technology centers, you're welcome to contact us and become a member and channeling your offer, your technology offer, your services, showcase your products or your innovation through our platform or our activity. But also, and this is something that we have launched recently, we are preparing the official launch, is that we have worked a lot with SMEs since our first project. In the MetaBuilding platform, we have more than 200 SMEs, and they have asked us, we are not technology centers, we are not big players, but we want to be included in your ecosystem. So we hear them, and we are launching very, very soon a new membership tier, the affiliate membership tier. So every interested stakeholder in the construction sector will be able to become an affiliate member of the MetaBuilding Association with a lot of benefits that you can read on the slide. but also at a very, very, very affordable cost. So this is a way we have to really engage all the value chain. And so we are happy and very, very happy. You will find this brochure in your bag. And if you scan the code, there's a QR code behind, and then you go and you can leave your name. I will contact you preferably in the coming weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jermaine. So booking.com, it doesn't hold hotels, it holds testing facilities. You can go book your testing. And Uber, so that if you need an innovation coach to take you from one point to another with respect to TLRL or how to do things, you can get help on that. Next, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. Who's not talking about artificial intelligence? In Nice, we had the pleasure of hearing the then CEO at the time, Samara Midori, talk to us about trends in artificial intelligence in buildings and wow, what has happened in the last 2 years and where this unicorn company, a global unicorn, Brainbox AI, has gone in the last 2 years. So we'll hear an update from Brainbox AI from Andrew Fitzpatrick, who's the head of business development here in Europe. So we look forward to that. Andrew, please.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tom and the R2M team for putting on this event and inviting me. I have the pleasure today to speak to you about AI and how we're deploying it in buildings today to reduce its energy, helping companies meet their net zero objectives. I'll take you through a bit of our journey as well, from that humble beginning in Montreal, Canada, to a global scale up today. And finally, I'll talk about some of our latest innovations. But as Tom said, everyone's talking about AI, so I wanted to get a quick question out there. So by a quick raise of hands, who uses ChatGPT or something similar at least once per week? We know R2M does it to buy t-shirts. Okay, good. So that's at least 90% of the crowd. So it means that we're doing something right with one of our innovations I'll talk to you about. But AI is a buzzword, and it's not magic powder that solves all our problems. So first, let's take a step back and look at some of the challenges that we see in buildings. When we talk about buildings today, we talk about buildings that already exist. By 2050, we know that 80% of the buildings already exist today. So we're addressing that large market. And so when we look at how buildings operate, it typically comes down to two main large expenditures, either energy costs or facility management costs. On the energy side, one of the challenges that we see is that 30% of energy today is wasted. That's energy that you don't need to spend. On top of that, with climate change, we know that there's more volatility in weather, more extreme weather patterns, so we need more dynamic systems to deal with that volatility. On the flip side of that, but related, on FM, we know that there's a shortage. A US stat shows that there's a shortage of 110,000 HVAC technicians in the market today. 48% of FM teams say they're understaffed. And when we look at how they work, 72% of work orders that they receive are reactive. So bottom line, there's not enough people and they don't have enough time in their day to deal with all the issues that they need to and be more proactive. And so that's really where we're bringing AI. Those are the challenges that we're addressing. On the energy side, we talk about autonomous AI to reduce energy costs, reduce GHG emissions. How we do it, breaking down that word autonomous AI. Autonomous is key. We don't just send insights to managers on site because they're already inundated with reactive work orders. So we take autonomous action. If there's a way to optimize, we send a command directly back to the building management system, the brain of a building, to influence how it's performing. And AI, we talk about predictive AI. So we learn how each zone of a building behaves based on the internal data, which is underutilized, and big data sets externally, weather, energy prices, carbon intensity of the grid. And by predicting what will happen, we can optimize the way the building behaves. So rather than a building being reactive, it gets too hot, so we push cold air into a space like this. We know it will become too hot, so how can we change its behavior? On the FM side, a lot of our clients were asking us, well, can AI help us with this broken piece of equipment? To my knowledge, AI cannot pick up a spanner and fix a broken valve. So we're addressing this with a generative AI solution called Aria. It's first of its kind at scale. And essentially, Aria is there to guide teams. So essentially identify issues, diagnose those issues, and prioritize issues for FM teams to make sure that the faults, errors in equipment are fixed quickly, ensuring happier clients for the customer. So those two innovations really lead us to where we are today. As a global company, we're deployed in all sorts of commercial real estates globally with some large partners. We're 200 people strong, deployed in 50 million square meters. So in square feet terms, it's 500 million square feet, which is what I like to explain. Sounds more impactful. 17,000 buildings in 17 countries. But through that journey, there was lots of highs, lows, changes in strategy. So I thought I'd take you through some of our approaches over the last 8 years to get to where we were. So we were founded in 2017, called BrainBox at the time. We learned that there was a copyright on BrainBox for learning cards. So we changed our name to BrainBox AI. We have a very good legal team now as well. From 2017 to 2019, we did lots of free proofs of concepts with adventurous clients that wanted to test out our solution. We went to market in 2019 and went global in 2020 with the help of our friends at R2M here in Italy. We also launched in the UK and Australia as well. And that was also the start of our funding. So as any startup, we decided to go through the funding route rather than bootstrap. And that funding allowed us to innovate, put money towards development of our solution, and to market our solution. So for 4 years, we went through pre-Series A, Series A, and top-ups. And we won some nice awards as a proof point to our innovation. We won Time Best Invention in 2020 for autonomous AI solution. We won an innovation award at COP26 in Glasgow. And in last year, we won another Time Best Invention for Aria, that generative AI solution. Along the way, that money also helped us acquire companies. So we acquired part of ABB's EMS business, and we acquired part of Turntide's software business, which filled gaps for us. ABB helped us fill the hardware gap, and Turntide helped us fill a dashboarding gap. And that leads us to today. In January of this year, we were acquired by Trane Technologies, one of the largest OEM manufacturers in the world. And it was an acquisition that's a very strong partnership, in fact, where we continue to hold our unique brand. And in fact, Trane has launched their AI lab in our headquarters at BrainBox AI, which we're managing. So the journey continues for us. And so over those 8 years, we started with the AI HVAC optimization, something that we built internally ourselves, but we acquired some skills as well. So we filled the gap. We have a cloud building management system, and finally partnering. So we followed the build by partner. We couldn't do it alone, and we developed Aria with AWS to become a first of its kind solution. And so now bringing it back to the built environment, typically when we deploy our solution, what resonates well is reducing energy, saving costs, improving comfort. So we do that very well, reduce energy by up to 25%, improve comfort. But we realize there's more stakeholders that are impacted by AI. So the sustainability teams see reductions in their GHG emission, useful for their reporting. Operations and maintenance teams, equipment's lasting longer. Aria is helping them resolve issues quicker. Deferring big CapEx investments for later, or our savings can help fund those, in fact. And what's really exciting is demand response. So understanding signals in the grid and working with the grid to provide flexibility that's required. And this also generates new revenue streams because some grid operators actually pay you to not use energy during certain moments of the day. And I want to spend a bit of time on that because that's what's really exciting for us in the context of cities and sustainable places. On the left side of the screen, you will see the status quo. There's typically a peak demand, 9 a.m. when all the buildings come online. Energy is more expensive, more energy is needed, and therefore you're getting more energy from more carbon intensive sources typically. But if we know that event is going to happen, if we know there's going to be a peak price or even more carbon intensive energy, how can we be more intelligent in managing that? And so the theory is that we can preheat, pre-cool before strategically because we've learned how a building actually behaves, and then coast through that peak moment. So therefore, we're not using as much energy and reducing the carbon footprint. And I'm happy to explain today that we proved that point. This was with a client this has been published in ASHRAE guidelines, a well-known body in the US. We've reduced energy consumption by 10% on the right, but most importantly, we've actually reduced the GHG emissions of this building by 15%. And bear in mind, this was a LEED certified, had all the certifications for a very smart green building in the first place. So that 15% was very, very impressive for us. And I'll finish quickly with a thought or more of a question. I've shown you that we can shift load in individual buildings. We can do that globally, spotted around. But what happens if we can have a cluster of buildings or within a district or within a city, more of these buildings in a portfolio kind of setting? We know the thermal behavior, we know the thermal signatures, we can create thermal batteries to store energy. So how can all these buildings work together and actually be an important player in the energy transition, bringing more dynamic behavior to how the grid operates? So I'd love to discuss that with you, discuss AI, your thoughts on it throughout the next couple of days. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew. I wanted to draw a point of attention on the trace of Brainbox AI. So we saw time and we saw actions and partnerships and investments and purchases. That really struck me because we work on exploitable results. I can think of research projects that have been as long as the trace that we just saw. And while many people say it's hard to connect to a building, we can't do this, we can't do that, we're our own worst enemies. Here's a company that's now in 17,000 buildings, and I forget the number of cities and countries worldwide, in the same time that typically we spend on a European project. So I just highlight that it can be done. And often we say, why is that association going to work? Or why is that association going to work? I want to wait and see proof that it works. Meanwhile, there are people just going and running and doing it. They're writing the standards, they're getting things done. So I consider it a call to action for everyone that's in European research or working on these projects or exploitable results. Put it in high gear. It can be done. And with some intelligent structuring and strategies, you can do some really great things. Speaking of doing great things, we'll close the opening ceremony with a really great talk on a very difficult topic on deep renovation. It'll be different than the one from this morning, but the challenge is the same, and how we organize to get it done is really something to pay attention to. So I welcome Thomas Mjoren, the CEO and founder of Adera.
Thank you, Thomas, again. And I swear I will not speak in the next day, so just today a couple of times. I'm Thomas Mjoren, I'm CEO and co-founder of Edera. Edera is a not-for-profit organization. It's an Italian innovation center that is looking for solutions in order to decarbonize and retrofit at a large scale the built environment. We are participated by a key player of social housing and the National Association of Constructors. We have been funded for one reason, and to realize to the challenge of doing the transition of the built environment. And we have three things in mind when we think about doing the built environment transition. And first of all, it must be achievable, it must be doable. And it's not given for granted. And according to us, it must be just, even more difficult. And last thing, it must be beautiful. And this is obviously not only our perspective, but European Bauhaus. And I want to highlight something about these three things. Starting from the doable things. It's not easy to do it because, as I mentioned quickly this morning, we have more or less 200 million homes to be retrofitted in Europe, starting 1st of January 2024, ending the 31 of December 2050. Saturday and Sunday included is 20,000 retrofit a day. So we are already in late. And it means, I mentioned also this morning, one retrofit per minute in Italy. That's one deep renovation at minute in Italy, and that 20,000 in Europe. So it's not just about financial resources. In Italy, we have been living in a kind of paradise a few years ago. I'm not speaking about the Renaissance. I'm speaking about a super incentive that we have that simulate a market situation in which we have infinite financial resources, simplifying it. So, but at the end of this period in which we have a 110% super incentive, so more or less the demand was driving the market, we reached one goal, that is we made a drip renovation of 2.1% of our portfolio. But our national plan requires us to go at a speed of 2.7%. And we know that it was not paradise, but who work in the construction sector remember the period as a kind of hell. So, because it was physically impossible to go quicker, to go deeper, to go greener, and it was and to work with a better quality. So it's obvious that we need a new paradigm to deep renovate our portfolio. But this is still not clear because we are not changing our policy radically. I think it's starting now in Brussels, but it's not starting at the national level. And it must be just. And this is another very difficult topic. I think that renovation now is not democratic. It's not democratic for a lot of reasons. It's not a renovation for all, because poor families now live, obviously, in the worst buildings. There is a very high cost of renovation, and there is very few access to credit, limited access to credit. Poor families are not able to manage bureaucracy. They have no technical support, and they are not managing the risk of overrunning budget and time. So, and when finally we manage to make the renovation, we run into the risk of gentrification because there is an increase of cost. So that's why we are dedicating 3 days at the end of November. You are all invited in Milan for renovation days in which we will work how to make the renovation a democratized one. And finally, it must be beautiful. And we already tried to make a home for all in the 50, in the 60, and the result has been this one. So when we apply a home, a product for everybody, it must be said that does not be very nice. So a lot of innovation is needed. We do think that industrialization, as I said this morning, is really a key issue in transforming the sector. Is a big part of the solution. It's not the only part, but it's a big part. And it's true for new construction. We need to make affordable housing viable. When I say viable, it means now in Italy, if you want to build an affordable housing, you have to build aside new luxury buildings in order, and you sell it, and with the profit of that building, you run into affordable housing. So we must cut 25% of the cost of the new construction in order to make affordable housing viable in Italy and all Europe. We are missing 500,000 of new homes, new affordable homes in Italy. And secondly, we must make renovation a renovation for all. It must be quick, because people must not leave the house. It must be simple. It must be nice. It must be something that attracts you, and it must have a lot of performance. It must be scalable, because we are doing a lot of intervention with the same kind of typology of buildings, same buildings, but with different techniques and a lot of work. So what we are looking through, we are the point of reference of an energy strong movement in Italy. And when we are speaking about changing the idea of renovation, we're speaking something that is realized in 15,000 and more, and counting homes in Europe. This is a renovation made 6 or 7 years ago in the Netherlands. Net zero renovation made in 1 day and transforming the house in a net zero house, guaranteed with performances guaranteed for 30 years. So this is something that is feasible. It is feasible in all Europe. And the solution, and it has been costed, the cost was 70,000 euros, so it was not so expensive. Energy strong and deep industrialized innovation are ramping up in Italy. This is the situation at the moment. We have more or less 800 interventions in all around Italy. I wanna, in the last minutes, focus on the fact how to scale up all this. And speaking about, since we are here in Milan, speak a little bit more about what we are doing with Milan municipality. And I think it's relevant because it's relevant for all urban areas. We have a double challenge, decarbonization. Milan is one of the 100 cities that has a goal of reach full decarbonization by 2030. So we need a 65% cut down of emission, and more of the half of emission came from the built environment. But at the same time, there is a very compelling housing crisis. One person on 10 lives in public buildings, public housing, but it's not enough. 6,000 of the 28,000 homes of the public building portfolios we cannot use them because there is no money to retrofit, and there is missing a lot of homes. And the municipality spend more or less 100 million per year to maintain this portfolio, but it's neither half of the money that would be needed to maintain this portfolio and to build the new homes that are needed. So we need a new model, and it's not only about Milan, but it's about a lot of cities to cut down the cost of maintaining this portfolio and the social costs that are that comes with. So we developed a project. It's called Energy Strong Milano. This project is willing to provide to a public administration of Milan to be the first public administration in Italy able to provide deep renovation on a large scale, industrialized ones. So it's financed by the Cariplo Foundation. And what we are doing is we are analyzing the portfolio of 28,000 homes, and we discovered one very interesting thing. With 3 typologies, you are more or less covering half of the building stock. So if we manage to find out a solution for these 3 typologies, we managed to find out a solution for half of the portfolios. So that's why we are investing €250,000 of our money to pay for the best solution for these 3 typologies. This solution will represent a model that will be, it is not just a model, a technical model, it is also, we say that it must be beautiful, so we engage the most important architects in Milan to define a new vision, a new typology, a new language. How can we can build beautiness, we can make nice buildings, nice retrofits with modular and industrial things. And finally, we need to scale up this. So we need to find out public procurement, economic models, and cost compression curves. So a lot of training, a lot of things and process that will enable an exponential curve of progression in deep renovation in Italy. And by the way, we will announce in October, at the end of November, the replication of the project in other cities and starting from Rome. So it's a city based, since the government is not pushing so much for green deep renovation, by the way. So we are moving towards cities. And we are inserting in this process a lot of a lot of innovation, working with different projects. So we are very keen to going on this perspective, applying this knowledge to the pilot cases we are providing in Italy, like this one, for social housing buildings that are being retrofitted very quickly in a very green way with circular materials and in a sustainable way. So if you have a building or if you want to join this kind of movement, we are very happy to work together. So thanks a lot.
We've done it. We've arrived to the end of the closing ceremony. We're about 10 minutes in delay, and I know we're all going to take a half an hour break. There's no stopping this auditorium from not taking a full 30 minutes to network and enjoy the break. So we'll do that, and we'll start the next session at 13:40, but we're going to, no, 15:40. But we're going to ring the bell, and please come back in. That way the next session can start on time, and to give that a good opening and closing so that we can get out to the castle tour and the aperitivo afterwards. So one more time, let's say thank you to our panel of speakers, and let's be back at 15:40 for the next session, Smart, Digital, and Inclusive Cities. Thank you.